don't know what you have until it's gone. Get spoiled by the greatness of the men under center. Back-to-back generational quarterbacks, a Super Bowl ring, perhaps another with the new blood? Dreams of reforging greatness consumed the minds of the Indy elite. Their window was opening back up after a luckless 2017. A playoff win teasing greatness to come. An offensive line rich in all-pros. A defense full of talent and unsung heroes. And of course, luck was on their side. On paper, the Colts were a Super Bowl contender. But that paper quickly burned away. No matter how hard you try, you can't run from your past. Your fuck-ups will come back to haunt you. With the Colts, the day of reckoning came on a dreary August evening in 2019. The man they were relying on to be their savior could move forward no more. His spirit drained, his body withering, his resolve devastated. There were hints towards Andrew Luck's physical decline, but nothing that could signify this. It was a blow to Indianapolis as a whole, and in hindsight, the killing blow. No matter what the Colts did, they were doomed. A slow, gradual death that had been years in the making. Started by organizational negligence, and ended by that past negligence. In the end, that failure was a permanent branding. That lost luck would continue to haunt them in the coming years. It wasn't that they didn't try to replace him, they did everything they could. The issue was no matter what they did, reality was inescapable. This team was built for Andrew Luck, and Andrew Luck alone. Phillip Rivers was the first replacement, a brilliant quarterback in his heyday, a potential Hall of Famer of the cards fall round. Even then, there was an issue. He wasn't Andrew Luck. He could only take them to a bitter wildcard loss. Carson Wentz was next after him. One of the most promising QBs in the league a few years ago. Head coach Frank Reich got the best out of him in Philly. He can be fixed, they say. Once again, he wasn't Andrew Luck. He collapsed in the final stretch of the 2021 season to have Indy miss out on the playoffs. Third time's the charm. Oh, Matt Ryan isn't like those other guys. He was a former MVP, a true leader in talent rivaling Andrew himself. But no matter what Matt did, he still wasn't Andrew Luck. Not even close. Signs were pointing towards Ryan's market decline in 2021, and as a Colt, he was cooked. Rivers would retire with the indignity of being one of the best QBs to never reach a Super Bowl. Wentz would be flung out of town as fast as he was brought in. Ryan was permanently benched for a 6th-round pick named Sam Ehlinger, cursed to potentially never play in Indy again thanks to a cold business decision. The perpetual desire for temporary fixes was desperation from the start. Without a permanent option at quarterback, Indy's upside was merely wildcard loss. All three of his replacements had skills in their own right, but they lacked the organic nature in which luck grew in the system. The Colts were in a losing situation no matter what. Do you know who might have helped Indy win in that wildcard game against Buffalo? Andrew Luck. Do you know who could have prevented the Colts from choking against the Raiders and Jags in the 2021 season? Andrew Luck. What about 2022? Do you know what may have helped Indianapolis fulfill their potential? The answer isn't Andrew Luck there. There are too many problems to count. Indy's offensive line has fallen apart. The most expensive unit in football can no longer block D-lines effectively. The men behind them are butchered nearly every play. Jonathan Taylor morphed from one of the best running backs in 2021 to a complete flop. And that's if he manages to be healthy enough to dress. Team wideouts have suddenly become suspect. Talent is thin, and what they have is unreliable. The defense is withering with a combination of injury and underperformance. The kicker kicked his own job wide by week 1, and that's just the surface. Executives spent too long trying to chase a replacement for their fallen QB that they neglected everything else in the process. It's a Greek tragedy in modern form. Everyone in the story is a fatal flaw. Chris Ballard is a brilliant assessor of talent, but he can't build a team with a dam. Frank Reich is a solid football mind, but he needs great men around him, and doesn't delegate anywhere near enough. Jim Irsay cares about his team, but he's too meddlesome when he shouldn't be and passive when action is needed. His stubbornness in freeing his team of Ryan Grigson's horrible grip will permanently be a scar on his record. While it's obvious to look on the surface, note that Indy also had a talent drain in team coaching. Nick Sirianni and Matt Eberflus were poached to lead other teams, and both have done admirable jobs in once shitty situations. Now as the dust is settled, we know that these men played a much bigger role in Indy's success than we once thought. The window has slammed shut in their faces. Further punishment for Jim Irsay's negligence in the line of duty, nearly everything has fallen to shit for the Colts. Tying the Texans was merely an appetizer. Round after round of embarrassing losses and agonizing wins has forced Jim's meddling hand. The Third Reich of Indianapolis is fallen. Irsay fancies himself a knower of ball. Like his call to bench Ryan for Ellinger, his decisions have to be at the forefront. Which is why instead of a head coach, he brought in a yes man. Jeff Saturday, an ESPN analyst whose experience is coaching a high school team for several years. Jim says his inexperience means he has no fear, and won't rely on analytics. While completely misunderstanding analytics as a whole, it may not make sense to anyone, but it's not supposed to. Jim merely wants a puppet that will shut up and do his bidding for the rest of the year. Irsay's pedigree of being a fail son is a testament to his skill. He won a ring, he'll say. Ignore that his team lucked into drafting Peyton Manning first overall and Bill Polian micromanaged every detail, but Jim Irsay is an expert in his mind. All of it doesn't matter in the end. Nothing can replace what was lost. Nothing anyone can do will bring back Andrew Luck. He is what the Colts have always needed, yet could never obtain. It has sent them spiraling to their death, and the inevitable despair that will follow in its wake. It's the ultimate what-if scenario of the modern NFL. What would have happened if Andrew Luck was healthy? I don't know if it would have gotten them a Super Bowl, but I bet Frank Reich would still have a job. Like that buyout that time has come to pay a bill years in the making. One that was being concocted the moment Andrew Luck was drafted. Maybe even before that. There is something worse than bad luck in the NFL. And that's no luck. You don't know what you have until it's gone.
They toss it back here to Hill. Around the corner, he goes! Tyreek Hill to the end zone. Touchdown.